Today we're going to talk about direct variation. Direct variation is going to look very familiar to you because direct variation is basically proportions or proportional equations. The equation looks like y equals kx. K is the constant. And if you're solving for k, it would be y over x, which should look like the slope to you, which is basically what it is. Things about direct variation equations, they have to go through zero. Also known as the origin. And the graphs over here show you if they can be, k can be positive or k can be negative, and it changes the slope. Okay. So we're talking about an experiment. We're talking about volts and current. The voltage directs with the current, so that means the voltage is y and the current is x. So the equation is the one we're always going to use, which is f of x equals kx. Okay, we're going to fill up the table and then we're going to find k. So we know, because I just told you that at 0, the voltage is going to have to be 0. At 4, it's 120. So half of 4 is 2, and half of 120 is 60. 4 times 2 is 8, so 120 times 8 is going to be 240. Halfway in between 120 and 240 is going to be 180. And you should see that it's going up by 60, so this is going to be 300. Okay, so let's figure out what the constant of proportionality is. This is going up by 2. This one's going up by 60. So our slope which is our constant of proportionality, is going to be the change in y over the change in x. So that's going to be 30 over 1. So 30 volts for every 1 amp of current. Okay, so using 30, we can write the equation as f of x equals 30x, where 30 is the slope, which is also the constant of proportionality. So constant of proportionality, slope, m, change in y over change in x, all the same thing. Okay, so knowing what we just talked about, if it's a direct variation, it would have like number 4, y equals 4x. So yes, this is a direct variation, and the constant of proportionality is 4. Okay, number 5 is not, because it has this 10, but let's work it out by solving for y. So we have 2x plus y equals 10. I'm going to take 2x away from both sides. I end up with y equals minus 2x plus 10. This makes it not proportional or not a direct variation. So number 5 is no. Number 6, because there's a 0 right here, is going to be yes. But let's work it out so we can find the constant of proportionality. We're adding 3x to both sides. So we have 5y equals 3x. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And I end up with y equals 3/5 x So the constant of proportionality is 3/5. Alrighty. Okay, so we know that my pen isn't working. Let's try that again. Okay, we know that we have y varies directly with x, so we're going to have y equals kx. If we have y and x, we're going to use those to solve for k. So we're going to have 16 over 5 equals x, oh, not x, k times 10. Divide both sides by 10. Dividing by 10 is, here's my 10 on the bottom. So I'm going to multiply 10 times 5, and I end up with k equals 16 over 50. And I can simplify 8 over 25. So that's k. So now my variation equation is going to be y equals 8 over 25 x. That's my equation. Okay, we're doing the same thing with number 8. If the chlorine varies directly with water, chlorine is going to be y, water is going to be x. So I have C equals K times W. So we have our 16 and our 1250. I put those in and solve for K. So 16 equals K times 1250. Divide both sides by 1250. K is equal to 16 over 1250. And I can divide by, I guess, 2, and I get 8 over 625. So my equation is going to be C equals 8 over 625 W. So there's my equation. Okay. Number 9, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to solve for x equals 5. So let's start out with this right here. Y equals kx. Y is 8. K times 10. Divide both sides by 10. K is equal to 8 over 10, which is 4 over 5. So my equation is going to be y equals 4 over 5x. So I want to know y when x equals 5. So I'm going to have y equals 4 over 5 times 5. My 5's cancel out. Y is equal to 4. So when x is 5, y is 4. Okay, now we have a table, and we're going to still find that function for direct variation. I'm finding the difference between my x's. It's going up by 3 in this case. And my y goes up by 26, 36, 46, 56, 66, 54. Just pick 2 points. You only need to find the difference between 2 points. So I can go ahead and find my k, because it's going to be 54 over 3, because it's the slope. 54, 3 goes into 54, 18 times. So k is 18. So y equals 18x. Okay, last one. Okay, so there's a student who says that they don't know how to make this work. Okay, they're saying y is directly varying with x because this goes up by 1, this goes up by 1. That would make it a direct variation. So we're going to decide if that's correct or not. Here's my first idea is going to be, let's find the direct variation. Oh, I'm not even going to do that. We'll do that first. Okay, so if x is going up by 1, y is going up by 1. That means y equals 1 over 1 x, which means y is equal to x. And if I look over at my table, my y and my x are not equal to each other. So this is false, and it is not an equation with a direct variation. The second thing I notice is it does not go through 0, 0. If 0, 0 is not a point, then it is not a direct variation. So two different ways I can tell right off the top that this is not a direct variation. So don't forget that just because it has a k, a slope that you can find, doesn't mean it's a direct variation. It also has to go through 0, 0.